Hey, how's everyone doing? I think we're live. Tell me in the chat if I am visible right now. Let me turn this music down. Can you guys hear me? Please do more of this live streams. Always willing to learn from you. Thanks, mate. I appreciate it. Let me know if you guys... I did a test live yesterday, but I'm not sure if we're able to. It feels so good when you drop a tutorial video on how to make a digital artwork. Thanks, mate. I appreciate it. It's cool. We've got 6 of you in here at the moment. This is going to be a bit of an intimate session, I reckon. The kind of plan is I'm going to edit some stuff, see what I can make in the time that we have, and then if you guys have got any questions, ask away. If you guys want to learn anything in particular, let me just move my light for a second. Give me one sec. It was just in the corner of the shot. Sorry if the... how's the stream strength going? Are we really bad? Let me know if you guys can... Yes, you are visible. Roger that. Awesome. So let me know what you guys want to learn. If you guys have got any questions, I'm going to start editing something. So I've got some assets here. Let me jump over to the Photoshop view. There you go. There you guys are right there. But I've got something I want to make. Here's a little asset that I'm going to use. Let me pull, actually, give me one sec. Let me pull this and throw this up here so I can see what you guys are saying. And then here we go. Special thanks to Visuals of Julius, by the way. He's single-handedly responsible for teaching me how to do all of this, because as of about a week ago, I had no idea how to do any of what I'm currently doing. Let's go and create a new artwork. Let's go 4,000 by 5,000. And let's go 16-bit. Create. Yeah, let me know how the live stream strength is. Because I don't want this to be... I want to make sure it's good. But I don't know. Because this is the first time I'm doing this. But yeah, thank you to Julius for teaching me how to do this. How much does Photoshop cost? Photoshop costs you $14 a month. $14 a month with Adobe. So not super expensive. You know, it's pretty cheap, all things considered. The amount of time I use it. Obviously, it's a hobby. If it's a hobby for you, then something like that is more expensive. But you know, generally, I would say that Photoshop is quite a cheap program to use, all things considered. Especially considering, you know, you pay. What do you pay for Netflix? you pay like $16 Australian. I'm talking in Australian dollars here, by the way. But you pay like what, $16 for Netflix? I'm sure you can pay what, $14 a month for Photoshop. So my inspiration for this piece that I want to make today is I made this little guy, or I purchased him. I purchased this asset from 3D People, and then I made him in Blender. So I posed him a little bit to look like he's kind of floating. That took me forever. And then I'm going to put him into this artwork. So I think the first thing I'll do is make my background. I reckon. Let me try do this. I got to make sure I don't show anything that I shouldn't show. I think my license was on that last page. Whoops. Assets, stock photos. I highly recommend, first piece of advice, if you guys, if you guys are interested in starting to do more digital art, start to create an assets folder on your computer. So start to develop everything in one place, put things in one place, and start to collect them as you go. Again, this is your, which Mac is yours? I use a 2019 completely spec'd out MacBook Pro, but I'm literally about to buy my first PC. So I'm going to help or get someone to help me build a PC. Again, this live stream, if you guys want to ask any questions related to Photoshop, so anything specifically you've wanted to learn ever, just ask. I'll stop what I'm doing and teach you how to do that. Let me know, because I've kind of got the live stream, the live feed in front of me here. But if you guys have got any questions, ask away, and I'll try and teach you as best I can in the live stream. But I'm going to start editing something and we'll go from here. I don't really have any plan in particular, but I'm going to see how we go. So Milky Way. I've got this kind of vision of making something that's a bit funky. So we'll see how we go. I might use this one. All of these, by the way, how are we doing? No data, the stream will end shortly. Why? Unless you restart it in your editing software. Uh-oh, I think we've got an issue. Hold on. I'm gonna keep going and see if this does anything. Are we all good? I think we're all good. Yeah, let me know how your face cam is lagging. Love your videos. Which Mac? Face cam is lagging. That is annoying. As long as Photoshop's not lagging, I can always move me off the screen. I can always just take me out of here. Let's cut me down a little bit here. So I'm not taking up so much of Photoshop. Thumbs up here. You're all good? I think it might be your internet, Devon. Jess says we're all good, so I kind of trust Jess. Sorry, Devon. Alright, so I'm going to make my background here. So my goal here is to kind of make something. I've got this vision of having a planet in the middle. Why is it such videos? I'm just going to keep going and ignore YouTube because YouTube's annoying me. So I've got this vision of having these planets in the middle, and then my astronaut guy, this little guy, floating in the middle, kind of like he's lost in space outside of Earth. And I've got all of these assets. Let me go and find my assets that I'm using for this. July assets, live stream edit. So I've downloaded a bunch of planets. Now all of these are from Envato. So these are the same, these are 3D assets. Let me just show you guys this, actually. I'm not sponsored by Envato. They are a Melbourne-based company, which is very cool. Let me grab you and let's drag you down here. So Envato is a Melbourne-based company, but I'm not sponsored by them. But if you are interested in signing up, there's a link in the top line of the description of this. I'm not going to sell you anything in this podcast, in this live stream, but I just genuinely do believe in this product. So if I go here and I search up, I just want to let you guys know how I got these. If I go Planet Earth or Planet, then these are 3D assets that I'm able to go into, and then I can download any angle that I want. So I render, View 360 render, and then I can move it around and download the PNG from that angle. So that's how I got That's how I got these. So these are the ones that I'm going to use. Let's get rid of you. Let's come back here. So these are the assets that I'm going to use to create this kind of scene. I also got this one. I'm going to try overlay the dark or the lights, I guess, onto the planet that I've got. But for now, let me make this background. So let's get rid of this. Sorry, G, my internet was a problem. Okay, good. All right, Alphan's in. Alphan, can you tell me how to pronounce your handle? Because I see you on Twitter, on YouTube, on Instagram, but I haven't actually had a conversation with you. Or just send me a DM. I'd love to actually chat with you. For anyone in here, by the way, my DMs are always open. I'm distracted. If you listen to my podcast, this is how most of them go. All right, so let's make this. So I want to go like this. Let's spin this around because I want the light source. I want there to be 2 light sources. So let's go like this. And then I need the light sources to be motivated. So let's go back to my assets folder, desktop, assets, stock photos. Let's go. Oh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Let's go and grab this guy. Is it this one? No, not that one. Let's grab this guy. So this is going to be the motivation for our second light source. So let's drag him up there. And I kind of want it to be more either side, I guess. Or maybe like, yeah, maybe like, okay, let's shut this off. Clear as a bell from Perth. Hey, there we go. How's Perth doing, by the way, at the moment? I think Perth and Melbourne, funnily enough, are 2 of the only places not in lockdown right now. So I'm going to stretch this out. Yeah, I want it like left to right with light sources. So like something like that. And then let's go with this guy. Sorry, you guys are going to have to experience all of the annoying things that Photoshop does, like stop and freeze every time you want to do something, like transform an object. There we go. We have to do it again. Sorry. When you live stream rather than do YouTube tutorials, I cut all of those parts out in my videos. Unfortunately, you're going to have to deal with them tonight. Let's go like there, maybe. Yeah, let's put that there. And then we're going to transform this onto a screen layer. And then we're going to go over to image. Let's explain that real quick. You said it correct, bro, and sure, we'll send a DM. Clear as a bell. How old are you, bro? I'm 24. 24 years young. Just to explain this as well. So if you're interested in like making your layers transparent, blend modes or layer blend modes, they are called blend modes. Whoops, I'm the one teaching here. So all of the light and blend modes. So these are the dark and blend modes, the overlay blend modes, the light and blend modes, and the so these all do different things. So generally the darkened ones make lights transparent, the lightened ones make darks transparent, and then the overlays do a mix of both. I've got actually a video. I know I don't have a video that's in my course, but I might make a video all about blend modes. But it's really, really simple once you get the hang of it. But generally, the first ones you need to know is like overlay or the darken and multiply. So they just make the lightest points. So if you look at this image, the lightest points, if I go to darken and multiply, are disappearing. Whereas if I go to lighten or screen, then the lightest points are. Screen generally makes things glow. So if you ever see me making something glow, it's either linear dodge add or screen. So if I go over to screen, are your best friend? They certainly are. So if I go here, we're getting a little bit of this fringing, and that essentially just means that the darks aren't dark enough. So if I go over to adjustments and then over to levels, and then I pull from the left-hand side here, you'll notice that this dark point will start to get even darker and then disappear more. Now, this is not always how I do it. Sometimes I'll just brush it away, but if you want it to look realistic and there not to be obvious brushing, then this is a good way to do it. So I'm going to transform that. I'm just going to pull that out to the side more, maybe like that. And then I'm going to go over here. Let's go to add a layer mask. And I'm just going to go with a brush. Perfect brush as well. So soft, round, pressure, opacity, and flow brush. Favorite brush in Photoshop. I do own a bunch of brush packs. I'm making my own brush pack, which is coming soon. And visuals of Julius's brushes as well. Cannot recommend them enough. But generally, 99% of the time, I use a mixture between the soft, round, pressure, opacity, and flow brush and the hard brush. Masking, I'll use the hard brush. And then like blending, I'll use the soft, round brush. I also use a lot of very specific brushes. Like I use grass brushes a lot, tree brushes a lot, hair brushes a lot. But generally, you don't really need to worry about that sort of stuff. So I'm just going to go and I'm just going to make it a little less, like a little random, the blending. So the reason why we're doing this is we want two light sources. We're going to have a warm light source and a cold light source. So for our cold light source, I also want a little bit of detail there. So I'm going to go over here. Let's grab, I think we're going to grab this guy. These photos I did not get from Envato, but I believe these are free assets. Yeah, they're from Unsplash. So if you're interested in any free places to get assets from, Unsplash is a good one that you can use. Which is your favorite sport? My favorite sport? Are we really talking about sports? My favorite sport at the moment is triathlon, because I'm training for an Ironman. But generally, if we're talking Olympics, because the Olympics are on right now, I guess that's probably why you're asking. If we're talking Olympics, I love swimming and water polo, because I used to play water polo and I was a swimmer for a long time. So that's probably my favorite sport that's going on in the Olympics at the moment. Rowing as well. But yeah, generally, those are the two that I do. Okay, let's go and blend this as well. So we're going to turn this one onto a screen layer as well. And then we're going to also make this one a bit darker. So let's go to blends, levels. Let's darken that quite a bit, actually. Let's bring that down to like 25. That there. And then I'm just going to go with a layer mask. I'm going to shift delete. So hold shift delete on here. And that's going to bring up the fill layer. And I'm going to fill this with black. And this is essentially called, I think it's called photo bashing, where you actually paint stuff back in from other photos. And all I'm doing here is just creating more information in the image, because I like my photos to, generally I find that a lot of digital artists, especially Photoshop digital artists, one of the things that they struggle with is just having not enough information in your photos. Like if there's not much going on in your images, then you're going to struggle to make it look realistic. Obviously, this is quite extreme. We've got two nebulous galaxies in one frame, but you know what I mean. It's like you want your images to be, you want it to be full, I guess, full of life. Let me turn up this music a little bit. I hope YouTube. I tried to pick something that is probably copyright free, but we'll see. All right, I'm going to darken this a little bit, and we're going to work on the color of this. I want this to be dark and really moody before I start throwing my objects in. So I'm going to go over here to brightness. Let's pin this to here, even though we don't need to, but if we add anything to it later. And then we're just going to darken this one below to something like that and add a little bit more contrast as well. And actually, since we've done that, it's shown us that we've added even a little bit too much. Is it that one or is it this one? Yeah, we've added a little bit too much here. So I'm just going to paint a bit of that back away. Yeah, so something like that. And I'm actually going to drag this, copy, Command T, something like that. Perfect. That's true. Sorry, there's like a 7-second delay on this. So when you say, if you respond to something I'm saying, I'm sorry if I don't respond coherently, because when you say it on the stream, I'm getting it like 7 seconds later or so. So I apologize about that. Okay, let's add a glow. So let's group these layers. Let's call this one glow. And then let's go over here and we're going to add a solid color. So this is going to be our orange glow. So all the way up at the full color. Let's go quite a burnt orange, sort of reddish. Something like that. Perfect. Let's fill this one with black. So the mask makes it disappear. And then let's go to the linear dodge add. And this is going to create the orange effect on this side. So before we do any color grading, I want to kind of get all the color into the background that I'm going to have. So let's make sure we've got a white brush back on soft, round, pressure, opacity, and flow. And we're just going to fill this with some glow. You want to be, that's honestly a little bit too much. So let's go here and bring this down at like 2 or 3% even. So something like that. Yeah. Actually, just 1 second. I'm just going to send out a tweet because I realized that I didn't tweet about this live stream. And while we're here, yeah, I agree. As a digital artist, making things look more epic is always my goal. Your work is amazing, bro. Let me tweet. Tweet. Hey, I'm live on YouTube right now. Come say hi. I tweeted it with I tweeted it without a link. Oh my god, I'm such a dunce. I'm such a dork. Copy. Let's delete that. Boy, oh boy. I'm really not very good at this, am I? Especially considering this is my job. Okay, let's copy it. Live stream. This is fun, actually. I expected this to be fun. I assumed it was going to be a lot like podcasting. But it's kind of relaxing. Because I normally edit on a Friday night. Well, not sometimes. I normally do most of my editing in the morning, actually. But I don't really feel like I could do a live stream super early in the morning. Although, where's everyone from? Just wondering, do you read your Instagram DMs? Or do you check your tags? I don't check my tags, but I do try to read all my DMs. Man, don't spam, please. Yeah, don't. Come on, dude. Maybe I need you to be my moderator, Alphane. You can be my first YouTube moderator. Yeah. All right. So we're back in it. Let's turn this down a little bit, just a little bit. It's a bit loud. Turn my mic up a bit. Okay. So we're just going to add a little bit more here. Did you study in this field or are you experience-based? I'm all experience-based, Jess. So I kind of, one of the things that I try to remind people of for me is I have been doing this a while now, but for a long time I kind of would try to remind people that I grew up painting and drawing and doing all that sort of stuff and to quite a high level, or quite a high level is probably an exaggeration, but I spent a lot of my childhood doing a lot of art related stuff, and I think that meant that when I went and transferred that knowledge into like Photoshop and photography and all that sort of stuff, it was more so a task of trying to learn the skills and less so about trying to learn like the basic principles. I think a lot of people have like they focus too much when they're first starting out on learning the basics of like a program, or learning Photoshop, or learning whatever it is that they're trying to do, like photography or whatnot. And then they inevitably end up actually struggling with creating artwork that's compelling, or creating artwork that tells a story. And it's not that they're bad artists, it's just that they haven't spent enough time learning about color theory and composition, storytelling and all that sort of stuff. And I was fortunate enough that I kind of learnt that very, very early on through my studies, or through my spending my childhood drawing and painting. So I think it's worth trying to make sure that you spend enough time doing that. And I actually have a course coming out in September that focuses around that which will be cool. That'll be a cool course. I'm really excited for that. It's a group course as well, which is cool. So it's not going to be just a video course that you buy and then do and then whatever. It's more so actually a course that we run through in small groups together, which is very exciting. I'm very, very excited about that. I just want to make this darker, actually. I don't think it's moody enough. So let's do that. That's nice. Let's bring this up a bit. And let's go to here as well. Levels. That was a color layer. Whoops. Not sticking to my own rules. I think I'm going to add a color lookup. So let's go foggy night. Nah, too much. Although, let's try this. Blend mode. Or blend if. And let's pull from the highlights. Reveal some of those highlights back into it. So like something like that. On the Mornington Peninsula. That's about 45 minutes from me. I'm just in Balaclava. That's actually alright. I don't mind that. It's a bit, it softens it a little bit, but I don't mind it. I need to kind of desaturate things. I think it's just a bit too much at the moment. Too much for my liking. I could bring it back later, but I don't like those deep blues. Yeah, I kind of want it to be like into the void, kind of is the vibe that I'm going for here. So like maybe if I... Yeah, something like that. Let's pin that to there. Let's make sure this one as well. The course sounds like a really good idea. Yeah, so the course is going to be more so related to teaching you guys how to tell a story, or teaching you guys how to discover your creative voice is kind of the aim that we're going for. With it, I say we, because I've got some people helping me build it, which is exciting. But it's going to be a course that's kind of dedicated to Photoshop in one sense. I'm teaching you how to use Photoshop as the tool, but the principles that I'm teaching you in the course is more so about, it's essentially taking everything I learned from, because the thing about my first course is, if anyone's in here who purchased it, by the way, thank you so much. But the thing that I learned about my first course is that it's all very well and good to teach the principles that I learned or teach the principles that I know so well, but it's another thing entirely to actually teach people how to create their own art and to how to share their own voice. And I think that that's what excites me the most is I love that people get to learn Photoshop and that excites them. But one of the things that I love about knowing Photoshop is the fact that I get to create things through my own vision, and I want to teach people how to do that essentially. It's not as crazy as it sounds, because that sounds very airy-fairy. All right, let's throw some planets in this thing. I almost swore just then. Whoops. All right, let's start out with our main planet. So let's go to July. Assets, Livestream. I think I like... I kind of like... I mean, I don't love it, but it's kind of cool that it's dark. Needs to be above as well. Yeah, I don't love it. I don't love it at all. I'd rather just work on one of these planets. I'll figure out a way to add the lights though. I think I'm going to go with this. So this will be our main planet. I forget that my mic does that. So I think this will be our main kind of centerpiece. I don't really know what I'm doing here, by the way. I'm sort of winging it. So we need to make this obviously a lot darker and create our own light source, which is actually very cool. And now that I see this, actually, I need to get rid of this. That needs to not be here. That's okay. I need more. I need more out of this. So let's go curves. I think. And let's make that black. Let's paint that back in here. Yeah, I need more out of this. This bottom, it's not doing enough for me. Okay, let's try and just focus on this planet for one right now. So let's bring this all the way down. Actually, let's try exposure. I think we're gonna need the exposure one. Let's go to 230. And you know what? In hindsight, I don't know if I love... Let's just straight off the bat see if this works. Yeah, you probably really... This is generally how I edit. Oh, that might just work. That might just work. Wowee. Wowee. Yeah, that might just work. Alright, let's go here. Let's size that up. Photo bashing. This is how I edit, guys. If you ever think for a second that I know what I'm doing, going into each edit, you are sorely mistaken. Let's see if linear dodge add. I don't know which one looks better. Color dodge kind of makes it already look real, doesn't it? Does that look real to you guys? Dynamic visuals. Where's dynamic visuals? We love Tom. And we love you too. Which one? Kieran? I guess it's Kieran. I'm gonna guess it's Kieran. What up, man? Greetings from Singapore. How many people we got in here? We got 19 people in here. That's exciting. That's fun, isn't it? Linear dodge, color dodge, linear dodge, color dodge. I think we're just going to stick with screen, and then I'm going to darken this a bit. So let's go to this layer, levels. Oh, bang. Isn't this exciting? Does this excite you guys as much as it excites me? I don't know why this stuff excites me so much. Alright, so what we're going to do here to make this work is a bit more photo bashing. So we fill that with black, and then we paint it in as if we're trying to... Now, if I was really trying to be specific, I could go... I mean, I could stop being lazy, couldn't I? Alright, let's see. Hold on. This is going to be annoying, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. Let's go to planet Earth. So let's search up planet Earth. So here, and let's find. So this is an Adobe stock image. So I generally don't like using Adobe stock because it's expensive. Not Adobe. I love Adobe, but they're stock site. So if I go here, view 3D render, and let's just wait for that to load. And then let's move it around to where this one is. So where's that? Is it that? No. My God, here's my geography is gonna have to come into effect here. I think it's up. There we go. We got a match, people. We have a match. There we go. That's my geography at play. Let's download that. If you are interested, I promise I didn't want to sell you anything in this live stream. I want these live streams to be fun. But if you are interested in signing up for Envato Elements, I cannot recommend it enough. It's in the top line of the description of this live stream. So if you sign up, I get a little bit of kickback. So if you're interested in supporting my art and you want to get access to this is where I get everything. Even like these. So if I go here to this screen, I picked up that from Envato Elements as well. I obviously changed the background and all that sort of stuff, but I picked up everything from Envato Elements. So Envato is amazing, and it's like super, super cheap. So if you're interested in getting that, I would highly recommend it. Okay, so let's drag our new planet in, because this is a match. Let's go here. Pin those to there. And let's size this all the way up. Get rid of that. And then we are going to put this back onto a normal layer. So fill this with white again. Oh, no, don't do that. Come on. Come on, dude. Come on. Come on, don't do that. Please. I'm going to fill this with white so we can see this again. Not 50% grey. White, please. Normal. And then we need to lower the opacity because we want to match the continents. So let's spin this around, I reckon. I think it's like that, is it? Yeah, almost. So, like that. Oh, that's just about bang on. How good's that? How good is that? Let's just size it a little bit better. Just a tiny, just a touch. I know we nailed it in the first turn, but like, you know, just a little bit better than that. I don't know what to tell you. It doesn't get any better than that. Doesn't get any better than that. I think I see Jeff Bezos. Why? There's so many Americans in here. 2 a.m. in San Francisco. How did you learn 3D? Oh, I saw... Yeah, let's answer some questions for a sec, because I'm getting a lot of them. Do you think Blender and 3D is meant for your style? Not necessarily. I enjoy it as an art form because it's quite freeing. Like, I enjoy the fact that I can make whatever I want. Like, I can literally make whatever I want, as long as I can learn how to do it. The reason why I haven't been making as much 3D art right now is because my laptop can't handle it, and there's a lot of things I want to make, but I just flat out can't. So that's why I haven't been making as much 3D art. But I am planning on buying a PC, and once I do that, I'm going to get back into making more of it. But I actually really enjoy the painting side of Photoshop. Like, I enjoy just sort of throwing things together and trying to make it work. That's what brings me the most enjoyment. The course sounds like a really good idea. Lockdowns, mate. Hey, greeting from Singapore. Crazy. Literally, it's exciting. Absolutely magical. I love it when a plan comes together. Hello. Hello. Rahul, how you doing? How did you learn 3D? I learned 3D from Blender Guru from Melbourne. He's actually he's from Sydney. I learnt mostly from him. I think I see Jeff Bezos, best 3D software for beginners. Blender by far, because Blender's free. Laptop gang, waiting patiently for GPU prices to drop. I think I'm going to buy it from like a pre-built company. I don't know what the company's called. I'm going to find it, but your streams are superior. I appreciate that, mate. Good morning from Iceland. Finally, some high quality breakfast TV. I'm sure you guys have great TV. Like, come on. I'm sure there's plenty better than me rambling at 7 p.m. on a Friday night. Sorry, my eyes. I've been at the pool and my eyes are filled with chlorine. Let's go back to Photoshop. All right, so let's bring the opacity all the way up on this. Let's bring this back to a screen layer. Let's bring the levels even lower on this one. So like there. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to photo bash this as well. So I'm going to fill this with black on the layer mask. And then I'm going to paint this back in just over the area that I want to fill the continent on. So I'm going to go all the way up to 100% because I want that to be full. Nice, soft brush. That's not a very soft brush, is it? And I'm just going to paint this back in. It doesn't need to be perfect because, like, it just doesn't. Like, you don't... That's the thing. I think generally one of the things that I used to really worry myself about especially with Photoshop and like 3D composites and stuff like that, was trying to make everything perfect. And all that generally did was kind of stress me out. It didn't really help out with the edit, and it also limited me. So I ended up just not making things because I was like, oh, well, it's not going to be perfect. When in reality, you really should just try and just make things and see how they go. Because when you just try something, then generally you're going to be able to figure it out. But if you are limited by the fact that you're like, oh, I don't know if it's going to work, or don't know if it's going to look perfect, then you're going to stop yourself from just having a crack and doing it. So generally I recommend just, especially in the beginning while you're learning, don't worry about making it look realistic. Who cares? It really doesn't matter in the beginning starting out. So what's going on? Oh, my Photoshop's freezing. Sorry about that. I just want to make sure that that edge of the planet, what is that? Oh, it's this guy. Ah, that's why. All right, so right now it looks good. I think the tone matches the background. Like if I was to look at this planet without any light, like, or just considering the lights in my scene, it works, but I need to add some highlights. So I'm going to darken this even more actually. Let's go to let's go to 3 stops of exposure. And what I want to do here is I want to add a nice, let's just go to my brush tool and to the layer mask. I want to add a nice blue highlight along here, and I want to add a nice orange highlight along here. So the way that I like to do this, there's a few ways you can do this, but I like to do it one way. So what we're going to do is we're going to group these together because these are all part of the same thing now. So we're going to call this planet Earth, or planet 1 if it was not Earth, but it is Earth. Planet Earth. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. I'm going to add not a color balance. I'm going to add a hue and saturation layer. I'm going to pin this to my Earth here, and I'm going to press colorize. And we're going to go for the color that we want the highlight to be. So we're going to go to about, I think we want it to be like a greenish, maybe like a light blue, similar to this color here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring the saturation all the way up to, let's go to 100%. And then we're going to bring this up to like 55, something like that. Now you're probably thinking, Tom, what are you doing? And I would agree with you. I don't know. So I'm going to go over to blending options, and I'm going to pull from the underlying layer. So the way I got to that, I'm butchering explaining that, but you sort of understand me, I hope. How do you get your work to look so high quality? I don't know. I always wonder when I get that question. I think it's a lot to do with the actual work itself and less to do with like any specific settings or anything. I think generally people worry too much about like the settings, when in reality, very rarely is someone's work the settings. I do sharpen my images quite a bit. I also add grain. I think that tends to make things look better on social media. I'm just going to fill this mask with black. Sorry, I'm trying to answer questions and edit and teach at the same time. This is quite hard, but I'm enjoying this, guys. Let me know if you're enjoying this. I think we've definitely got more viewers than I expected to have, which is exciting. But let me know if you guys are enjoying this at all. So here what I'm going to do is just with a nice soft brush, so soft round pressure, opacity and flow brush, I'm just going to paint back the highlight on the edge of the planet. And this is essentially acting, now you want to exaggerate these. I find that when I exaggerate things, it just always looks so much better when things just, lighting especially, you want to exaggerate lighting. Because if you can make it look as though the lighting really is affecting your scene, then that's only going to create more like drama in your edits. I find that's the best way to create kind of a really intense feel, is make the lighting really intense. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to duplicate this layer by hitting Command J. I'm going to clip this again down below by holding Alt until this little guy pops up. So to turn it off, turn it on. And then I'm going to go into here and I'm going to increase the lightness of this one to like 75-ish. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to press black, so fill that with black. And for this one, I'm going to be more precise to the actual edge. So this one's going to be like the ring. Oh, we're getting a bit of lag on my end. And this is going to be like the fringe of the highlight to really show that it's curving around the planet. So something like right on the edge here. Now I'm going to rush this. Usually I would be really strict with this, but my computer's not handling the live stream and Photoshop and OBS at the same time super well. But I'm just going to come along the edge here and bring this like that. Oh, that one didn't look good. Something like that, I reckon. Looks nice. Now that I see that, actually, I want to darken the planet even more. So let's go with the exposure. Maybe a little bit less. Maybe like 275. Alright, let's leave that for now. So let's call this orange highlight, or blue highlight, sorry, 1. Number 1. Let's go call this one blue highlight number 2. And what we're going to do here is we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to go over to hue and saturation. We're going to clip this below. Make sure it's at the very top. We're going to clip this. We're going to press colorize. And then we're going to go to like 20 on the hue slider. All the way up to 100. And then maybe a little bit less because we want this one to be more dramatic. So maybe 50 on this one. We're going to go to blending options and do the same thing. Just pulling. Just affects the edge. Now, obviously, this side's already dark, so it's not going to be as dramatic. So it doesn't need to be much, but like something like that. We're going to fill that with black. You guys enjoying this? Is this entertaining for you guys? And all I'm going to do, the reason why I rotated the screen is I just find it much easier to paint away from my hand. So I'm painting with a Wacom tablet to do all this. So what I'm going to do, same thing as before. I'm just going to go with a nice soft brush and just go along the edge and paint that highlight back in as if the orange of the glow was affecting the planet. Now, obviously, this isn't super realistic, but does that matter? No. Does it look cool? Yes. And that's all that matters. So just super lightly, something like that. And now that I see that, I don't think we need as much saturation. So let's bring that down to like 90 maybe. Oh, something like that. Let's go, actually, let's try that again. So fill that with black again. And I'm going to go even lighter. I just want this highlight to just be... The orange is always going to be very intense, especially in like a space scene where it's supposed to be at night, because it is so contrasty. So what we'd almost need to do is add like an abundance of light, which we will. We'll add like a glow and make everything really pop. But what we would almost need to do is add like a really strong abundance of light. So something like that, I think, is going to be good for that. Let's go back to our main scene. Maybe just a little bit more right on the edge. So like that. And let's duplicate this layer by hitting Command J. Let's clip that to the layer below. Let's bring that up to 100 and bring that up to like, I think 80. It's going to be the bomb. Let's fill that with black. And this one's just going to be our fringe highlight. So like right at the edge. It's not doing it for me as much with the orange, but that's okay. So something like that, I reckon. And maybe if we go... Yeah, that looks alright. Look, it's not my favorite, but it looks alright. Let's go. Let's change that blend mode actually to like... Yeah, that looks a lot better. Linear dodge add. Alright, so what we're going to do now is I think we're going to take this planet and we're going to place it underneath our glow layers and these layers, I think. Yeah. Actually, no. Let's place that back. Okay, we need to darken this entire thing. It's a little bit too bright at the moment, and there's not as much as I would like going on. That orange is just not doing it for me, dude. It's just not doing it for me. Let's maybe go to the brightness. Let's see what happens if I paint that away a little bit. That looks alright. Yeah, it's just not doing. It's just not doing it for me. Maybe if I get rid of. I think if I get rid of one of these. Just getting a little freezing going on. Alright, let's answer some questions. Having such a good time. I'm glad, dude. I'm really glad. How do you get your work to look so... I've already answered that. Absolutely enjoying this. Thank you, man. Shuckers from Jess Roberts. Having such a good time. I really appreciate that. Message retracted. I don't know why that is. Looking good. It looked great. But dude, your voice is satisfying as... If your voice is a music genre, it'd be lo-fi straight up. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. That's why I have a podcast. You should go listen to my podcast. I speak for once a week. Alright, what we're going to do now is I'm going to add a glow on the edge of the planet just to make it look... I'm going to see if that sort of saves it a little bit. Yeah, let's go with like that. Fill that with black. Let's name this group Planet Glow. Let's go down there. Let's go with that. So let's go with a nice soft brush. What we're going to do is we're just going to paint a bit of glow with a white brush, I should say. Just on the edge. So it almost looks like the light is actually interacting with the planet, because right now it doesn't look like it's interacting at all. And add a little bit more here. It's just a bit too much, isn't it? I'm just going to keep going because we need to. So let's go with a blue now, because blue looks so much better. Let's fill that with black, and let's do the same thing down here. So just adding a little bit more glow down here. Just to make it interact a little bit better. Alright, let's go up here. Let's add a tone. So what we're going to do is we're going to group everything together here. Or maybe let's go to the planet and let's just go with like something like a levels. Just add a little bit more contrast to the planet itself. Nice. Alright, so this is my, for the 16 of you in here, this is my secret weapon that I use in all my edits. So when I get to the point where I've gotten a bunch in and I'm trying to blend things a little bit better, I go and I add a black and white layer. Now what I'm trying to do here is essentially your eyes get confused by, I've found generally that your eyes tend to get confused by color. Like if you're looking for contrast, you'll get distracted by color contrast, and then you won't notice changes in contrast as much. By changing your image to black and white, it makes things really obvious. So if I go back to this artwork, if I turn this off, it's not super obvious where the issue is. Whereas as soon as I turn this on, I can see quite clearly that the highlight that's supposed to be affecting the highlight of the planet is the highlight of the planet's highlighter or highlighter is brighter than the actual highlight itself, which is an issue. And the same thing down here is the highlight itself is brighter than the actual light source. So I need to change that. And then the darkest point of the planet itself is darker than the background, which shouldn't make sense. The ambient light should be affecting, obviously, the planet. So what I want to do here is I'm going to go and I'm going to go back to my background. So let's go to these layers all the way down here and just make sure these are all grouped together. Let's delete this planet. Let's group all of this together because this is our background. I'm going to call this one background. Now, just before I start this, here's what it looks like before I do anything right now. So this is what we're working with. I'm going to turn this back on and I'm going to go over here to the background layer and I'm going to go over to a levels adjustment. And the goal here is we want to make this black the same as this black here. So I'm just going to bring this down slightly like that maybe and bring that to like there. And that's just made that planet pop a little bit more. And then what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to bring those highlights up so they're nice and bright, just essentially adding more contrast. Now, inevitably, we're going to have to work on the color after this because we've just added a bunch of contrast and in turn a bunch of saturation. Or what we could do is we could turn this off and then go and make sure that this is only affecting the luminosity values. So that's one way you could do it. I don't think we're going to need to do that though. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to turn this back on. And then I'm going to go over to my planet again. And I'm just actually going to add a little bit of fade on that. Just a little bit to the blacks. And I'm just going to brighten this up a tiny little bit. Just so that works. And then work on taking some of those highlights out. Just a touch. So if I go back here, let's turn that off. That now looks much, much better. So if I go here to my background now, what I also want to do is pin this to the background or clip it to the background. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to my curves and I'm just going to add more brightness to these highlights as well. Just a little bit. So I'm going to go here, fill this with black and just paint this back in a little bit more. So just a little bit, just to work those highlights just a little bit more than they currently are. And we're starting to get somewhere. I right now think this planet's a little bit too big, especially for what I'm doing for this edit. Although, in turn, I don't know. How's this going to look eventually? You know what I want to do right now? I want to bring this guy into my artwork. So let's copy this guy. Let's bring this in, paste. I'm going to delete our black and white layer. I'm going to call this one subject. I'm a long way away from my computer. Let me get closer. I'm going to call this one subject. And annoyingly, we're going to have to mask this guy out. I think. Very, very much. Yeah, we're going to have to mask this guy out. Annoyingly. I should figure out how to do that in Blender, but we haven't, so we're just gonna have to do it here. I tend to use the pen tool just because it's so much like better, I've found. I'm not gonna bother with these laces, so that's an issue that I came across because of Blender. So I'm just gonna mask that like that. I'm not gonna rush this because it doesn't really matter. If anyone actually knows how to do that in Blender, by the way, let me know, because CK's in here. How you doing, Chris? We're live streaming for the first time. Stealing some of your thunder, mate. Yeah, if anyone knows how to actually create individual like layers in Blender, like so I can export like masked versions of each aspect of the image and not have to mask them out after the fact, because obviously I shouldn't have to. There should be a way of masking, or there should be a way of rendering this character out without the background. You'd think, surely, like a PNG version. Like I'm sure there's some way of doing that. This is tedious. I know, guys. It's tedious. But it's worth it. If you're not using the pen tool to do all of your masking, and you're one of those people that tries to rush it with things like select the mask and whatnot, start just using the pen tool. Get used to it. Like, it just creates such a better result, especially like if you just take your time, and then it saves you later down the line with your edits. Like if you're getting like 2 or 3 hours into an edit and suddenly you're realizing that your mask isn't good enough to, say, create highlights or to create a realistic background or to add a new sky or whatever it is that you need to do that requires a really refined mask, you'll be kicking yourself for not just taking the time initially. Like, obviously this takes a long time to create a really realistic mask, but it's going to be so much better just if you just take the time with it. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. And as I say that, I'm wanting to just throw in the towel with this mask already because it's annoying me. But we'll get there. We'll get there. I'm very glad, bro. Relaxing vibes. I'm keen to watch you make this. Quality of the stream is A+, by the way. I appreciate that, man. You can thank Visuals of Julius for this, because I've been wanting to live stream for a while. For anyone like stressing about learning Photoshop, by the way, you can learn literally anything. Like everything that I'm doing right now as far as this live stream, I had to learn this week. So I had to learn how to use my Stream Deck. I had to learn how to use OBS. I had to learn how to use my cam link that's providing this feed. I had to learn how to create scenes. I had to learn how to create all these little different intermission things and all the little countdown timers and everything. I had to learn a new software to then teach you guys a software. So I think that if you're ever like feeling like you're not capable of learning anything, it's just not true. It's just not true. You just need to be able to put in the time. I'm imaging my live streams, pen tool only for 3+ hours. Strapping in. Chris is in. Strapped in for the evening. I hope you're editing something in the background, by the way. That's actually what I enjoy about these live streams. It's like, because I'm editing something, you guys could always just throw this on a different screen or onto your phone or something, throw some headphones in, or just throw it on another monitor in the background while you're doing something. Also, just while I got you, before I keep going with this, there's 18 of you in here right now. If all of you could go, and if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. I'm sure all of you are subscribed, but go and subscribe, and then also like this stream. Like the stream. If you can, share the stream. I would really appreciate that. You do not have to. That's entirely up to you. But if you can, like the stream, share the stream. I would really, really, really appreciate it. It would honestly mean more than you could imagine, because at the end of the day, these sort of things don't really grow unless you build a community around it, and you guys are such supportive people, and I would really, really appreciate it if each of you could, share the stream, like the stream, comment on the stream, do whatever you need to do to support this stream, or support my YouTube channel, I guess, because I'm going to be putting a lot more time. I hope you guys are aware that I'm in it now. I'm in it. Yeah, CK is one of the best out there. He's one of the hardest working lads as well. Just like a real, genuine, hard working, creative person. And I really admire him, to be honest. To be honest, Chris, I really admire you, mate. I really do. And I appreciate all the support as well. I've been meaning to get myself deep into Photoshop, and I think it's the right time. Love your work, man. You need to. I'll start working on something. You should send that photo over to me. I'll mask it. Bro, I love masking. It just takes me forever. It just takes me forever to do this. We should do a live stream together. That's a good idea. We'll do like a I don't know what we could do together that would be a good like live stream idea, but we could do like, I don't know, if you guys got any ideas. Oh my God, I'm getting dropping. I'm losing frames right now. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it's not your internet connection that's creating bad Photoshop right now. It's my my computer's chugging. You know what? That's what you could help me with, Chris. Is you could help me build a new PC. Because I'm gonna buy one. Although I saw one of Riley's latest sponsors. I don't know if you know the company, but they do like pre-made computers, and they've got one that's like the creator one. I was looking into potentially buying that, and I would be curious to see what you think of like pre-built computers. Is it worth like buying? You guys could do a getting drunk while editing. Dude, I don't drink. Oh man. Like I used to love like really getting loose on the weekend, and I know Chris likes getting loose, but man, as soon as I turned 23, my hangovers kicked my ass, man. I don't know what it was or why it was suddenly just at 23 that it started happening, but as soon as I turned 23, I can barely have like 2 or 3 drinks and I'm wiped out. That would be fun. How though? Can you live stream 2 separate setups? No, so what we could do is what we could do is through OBS, we could Zoom, for example, and then I'll run the Zoom feed of both of our cameras and both of our screens through OBS as like a scene, I guess. It'd be really heavy on the computer, but maybe once I've got a good PC that can stream really well, that'd be something we can do. I know you shouldn't, you should use what you've got available to you, but when it comes to like 3D and when it comes to live streaming and like Photoshop and stuff like that, there is a point where you just need a good enough system to handle what you want to do, unfortunately. It's probably why I haven't live streamed up until now, is just like the system isn't good enough to handle it. I'd love that. Yeah, and NZXT, I think, is the company. Are they good? Like, would you recommend it, or is that something you wouldn't recommend? Do you think I should build it myself? Because part of me is like, I want to build it myself, but also I don't want to just butcher it and just end up with a really terrible system. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather invest a little bit more money for a really perfectly built computer. I've got some contacts in the pre-built comp industry. Def's worth it, bro. We can chat when you're ready to invest. Perfect. Also, can you guys hear the music, by the way? Because I tried to put it into OBS, but I don't know if it's actually coming through on the system. Let me know if you guys can hear the lo-fi beats. Also, sorry, I would normally be so much faster with the pen tool, but these frames dropping. I'm getting like 15 frames a second at the moment. And it's chugging. It's making it really hard to use the pen tool accurately. Let's just do the hands later. Yeah, let's do the hands later with the brush. Let's come all the way down here to the pan. Yeah, I'll do that later. No, don't build yourself. I butchered my old PC. Is there anything that anyone wants to learn specifically in Photoshop? Is there anything you've been dying to learn but have never taken the time to, and you're interested in it? Also, should I make this a regular? I don't know if I can do every Friday night, but should I make this a regular thing? Any advice for a freelancer in photography? All right. I can answer that question. Should I go in? Yeah. All right. Let's put a pause on that. Freelancer. Let me have a little drink before. My first piece of advice. Sorry. My first piece of advice would be figure out exactly what you want to do. One of the things that I really didn't do well initially is, especially with my freelance work, I'm no longer freelancing anymore. I'm now just doing this stuff. That's a good thing to open with, actually. I'm doing this full time, but I'm not making a full-time income from it. I think it's worth reminding people of that. I've been fortunate enough with my freelance work that I've built up enough of a runway, and a runway just means, in the startup world, it essentially just means that it's my cash that I have before I need to start making money. I've got about 18 months worth of money that I can burn before I need to be making money. So I've essentially just been like, what better time than right now to go and have a crack at this. So I'm not freelancing anymore, but I was fortunate enough to build a bit of a career freelancing. And one of the things that I really didn't do well in the beginning is I just said yes to everything. Now, it is important to say yes to everything in the beginning, but at some point you need to refine what you're doing. So the first thing I would do is I would sit down and write a business plan. Write a plan for how much money you want to make. Write a plan for what clients you want to work with. Write a plan for what videos you want to make, what photos you want to take, how much you want to work, everything. Write a plan. Because once you've got a plan, you've actually got a vision for what you want to do. And I know it's just like airy-fairy and all that sort of stuff, goal setting, blah, 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 but it is so important to actually know what you want to do, because otherwise you're not going to know what to say yes to and what to say no to. I just kept saying yes to everything, and it just led me down a path where like one day I'd be shooting a boxer, and the next day I'd shoot a wedding, and then the day after that I was shooting a corporate gig. And that doesn't help anyone, because I'm not building any sort of brand. And a brand is so important, because a brand is the difference between someone coming to you and saying they want to hire you because you own a camera, and someone coming to you and saying that they want to hire you because you can provide them with something very specific that no one else can. Does that make sense? It's like you want to be able to essentially charge whatever you want, because if you say no or they say no to your budget, they can't get what you're offering anywhere else. And the only way that you do that is you specialize and you shoot what you love. So if you're doing freelancing for the right reasons, try to figure out exactly what it is you want to do, exactly what it is you want to shoot, and then work towards doing that. If that means doing it for free, or if that means only saying yes to those jobs, or saying no to more jobs that are unrelated to that, try and focus on doing that. Because one, it'll make you so much happier doing what you're doing. Two, it'll just create so much more longevity in your career. And three, you'll have a much more profitable career because you'll be specialized. One of the things that I'm loving right now is I'm actually taking on some Photoshop freelance gigs. And the difference between me taking on these jobs and me taking on my old freelance filmmaking jobs is my freelance filmmaking jobs were great, but at the end of the day, most of those people were just hiring me because I was referenced to them, or they saw my website, or they like what I do, or whatever. But I wasn't specializing. They weren't coming to me going, we need Tom. They were coming to me and being like, hey, if Tom's budget is too high, we'll just go somewhere else. Whereas with Photoshop, it's like, if a brand comes to me and goes, we want Tom, I know that they want my work, and they can't get that from anyone else. So I can essentially dictate that conversation because I'm in control. I'm in control because if they say no to my quote, well, good luck. Sorry. You can go and find my work somewhere else, which they can't do, obviously. So that would be my main piece of advice, is actually have a plan. Sit down with, if you've got to have mentors, man. Mentors are so important. Again, it's so cliche, but this advice is cliche because it works. Mentors, man. Mentors. Go and find someone that you know. They don't need to be in your career. They don't even need to be that impressive. They could be someone that's just a few years above you. And it doesn't need to be someone in person. It can be someone you DM on Instagram. It can be someone you call, someone you speak to, someone virtually. It doesn't need to be a friend or an older person. Some of my mentors are younger than me. Some of my biggest mentors, or one of my biggest mentors, is like 3 or 4 years younger than me. He's just a lot further along the line of this career than I am, so I look up to him and consider him a mentor. He's also just a friend. Mentor is a bit of a strong word. It's become like a marketing term. These people are essentially just friends. Build community, or build friendships with people, and that's only going to help you out. I hope that helps, man. Yeah, music. Send me the render and I'll legit mask it for you. Bro, I wish, but I'm going to get this done. I came for the Rode versus Shure SM. Really? Wow. I love product photography. Is it something people are looking for? 100%, man. People are always looking for product photography. You just got to do it well. That's like, at the end of the day, the only thing that dictates whether you're going to get paid good money for something is if you do it well. It's not going to be about marketing yourself super well or anything like that. Obviously, sales are important and knowing how to sell yourself is important. But first and foremost, just being really fucking good. Sorry, I shouldn't swear on the live stream. Just being really good at what you do is going to be the biggest thing that helps you get better or get paid more. That's going to be the biggest contributor to your money. Make selection. That took way too long, man. I'm sorry that took so long. Is this going to look like he's floating at all? I want it to be like small. It might work. I need to pose him better, but I don't know how to do it that well in 3D yet. So let's go here. Actually, come back up. We need to make this a smart object first. Okay, let's duplicate this. Let's turn this delete layer mask. Let's make this a smart object, just so we don't lose any information when we scale down. I hope that Australian passionate expression. Do you recommend those headphones? These are just the cheapest. What are they? Audio Technicas. They're the MX40s or something. I recommend them, but honestly, I don't know that much about headphones. Like I know a little bit, but I'm not a headphone snob. I'm not the kind of person that's going to be like, you need to have this specific brand and you need to do it this way. I'm not that type of person. If you're coming here for that, you're in the wrong place. I'm sorry. But yeah, like I bought these because I wanted the MX50s. I couldn't afford the MX50s, so I got these and they've been great. So I recommend them for that reason. But I actually, no, they do sound really good. Like, look, they do sound much better than like my AirPods. But what is a smart object? That is a good question, my friend. That is a very good question. So a smart object essentially just retains the information from the original photo. So for example, if I want to say, so let's say I want to remove, I don't know, something off this guy. Let's say I want to remove this little NASA logo, and we can't do that in the project file because it's a smart object. But if we rasterize the layer, a good way to describe this is if I go and duplicate this, and let's just keep our original here. So for this sake, let's go here to rasterize. If I scale both of these down, so let's scale them down to like be super tiny. And then let's scale it back up again to what it was before. So see how it's lost information. Sorry, we're lagging a bit. We'll wait for this to sort itself out. See how it's lost a bunch of information? It's gotten a little bit pixelated. But if I turn the rasterize one off, the smart object has retained all its information. And the reason for that is the smart object is its own project file. So if I click on the subject, the smart object little icon down here, it opens up its own project file. So it's saving everything in its own project file. So it essentially saves the information that you need to keep the original, if that makes sense. I'm butchering that as well. But essentially the only times that I use smart objects is if I'm going to be scaling things a lot and I don't want to lose information. And then two is if I want to, say, create like a surface, or like I'm using an object and I'm masking it, I'm warping it and I'm changing it. But then later on I want to go and say remove a certain part or add something or change the color. I go into the actual project file of that smart object and do all of those changes in there rather than doing them in the actual project panel, just because it tends to, well, it's an easier way to do it because you've got all the original information from the original photo. So that's what smart objects are. They're essentially a saved version of the original that you can access at any point, so you don't have to worry about like losing information if you scale or whatnot. Let's not do that. Sorry, the frame dropping is really struggling. Also, how are you guys liking, because they're obviously not getting many views at the moment, which I didn't expect them to. Quick question, why is it that you're using the brush tool to rub things out instead of using an eraser? So I'm using the brush tool because this is a layer mask. After having the Shure SM7B for more than 1 year, do you regret the switch from the Rode NT? Not at all. I love this thing. This thing is awesome. I'm actually about to buy a second one for guest episodes on the podcast, so I love it. Love it. Well, quick question. Why is it that you're using the brush tool to rub things out instead of using the eraser? I'm using the brush tool because it's a layer mask. So at any point I can go back and bring all this back easily. Whereas with the eraser tool, obviously you can't do that. So layer masks are non-destructive, whereas the eraser tool is destructive. So you're going to lose all that information permanently. So that's why I'm doing it. It just makes it non-destructive versus destructive. If you want to search up a really good YouTube video, just search up destructive versus non-destructive editing, and that'll actually explain everything I've just spoken about. So that'll explain smart objects. That'll also explain layer masks. So like if I want to paint any of that back that I've just unpainted or that I've just removed, all I need to do is click on the layer mask over here and then go over to here and change this to a white brush, and then I can paint all of that back in. So anything that I just did, I can paint it all back in. Whereas with the eraser, obviously you lose all that information permanently. Yeah, what the fuck? I see that. I see, that's very interesting. That PC is calling you. Oh, I know it is, dude. The way around the negative effects of eraser. Morning from London, quick question. Couldn't you just select the grey color and erase it? So I tried to do that before this live stream because that's what I was planning on doing initially. And there's too much grey in the character. It didn't work super well. So yeah, that was my initial thought. I was just going to use the what is it? This guy. The magic wand tool. But there's just too much grey in the character itself, so it ended up selecting a bunch of the character. I also used the like quick subject selection tool, so there's a new one in Photoshop called subject selection. I also tried using that. I tried a bunch of things before this live stream, so I wasn't completely winging it. I didn't just with the subject itself, like obviously the background, you guys saw me troubleshooting that as we went. But with the character itself, I actually tried a few things before the live stream and they didn't work, which I was annoyed about because I was hoping I wouldn't have to mask this live. You guys are now seeing why most of my edits take hours. So you can imagine how long this has taken to mask out. Obviously, it'd be much quicker if I wasn't trying to maintain a live stream and also deal with the frame drops of my computer chugging right now. I just broke his finger. Whoops. If I wasn't trying to deal with the frame rates dropping on my computer and then also manage a live stream at the same time. But you can imagine how long this would take if I was doing this and also masking out like multiple different objects and all that sort of stuff. Why did that change to the pen tool? That's not what I wanted. It takes a long time. It takes a very long time. We've got 18 people in here. What's the biggest difference between the NT1 and the mic you're using? USB mic versus a XLR mic. So obviously an XLR is going to be much better than a USB microphone just because of the audio, like the audio's being transferred through a much more, I guess, powerful source. I don't really know that much about audio. I know I made that video. But that was honestly the purpose of making that video was to be from someone who's not like an audio engineer, because I found that a lot of the YouTube videos about audio and about microphones were from people who've like done audio engineering for years and were talking as if they knew a lot. I think that's one of the things that I tend to do with Photoshop is I've been doing Photoshop for so long that when I teach Photoshop, I tend to just forget what it's like to be a beginner. And that just means that I'm not taking into consideration the fact that I'm not going to know certain things. Whereas with that video, I've just gone into that. I honestly just winged that video. I was like, I'm just going to make something from my first impressions of using this microphone and see what it's like. You had the NT1 XLR mic. Right. No, I had the NT USB. Creative. All right, I'll hush. No, all good, man. All good. No, I appreciate that you've come from that video. I had no idea, because that's the thing about YouTube is I started on Instagram. Like, I started this whole thing on Instagram. So for me, whenever anyone, like the craziest ones, man, there's people who listen to my podcast who have like never been on my Instagram before. And those people blow my mind. I'm like, where did you come from? Like, how did you find me? Bombarding with questions, let him work a little. No, dude, I like the questions. I want this to be back and forth. Morning from London. I already seen that. It already takes me 2 hours to edit one photo, so I can imagine how long it takes you. It actually doesn't, so it depends what it is. Like, I've obviously had edits. Generally, I would say most of my edits take me about 3 hours. 3 hours is like the average, I would say. Like all three of the, with the exception of like the big ones, like obviously the Heart of Mother Earth edit, that thing took me like 2 days. I also did a project for a client. I can actually show you this now, because I probably shouldn't, although I'm not going to. I'll show you guys eventually. I can't do it now. I would love to, but I'm still under contract, so I'll wait for that to finish. But I finished an artwork that took me 30 hours. So you can imagine, you can imagine what that artwork looks like. So it's pretty cool. It's like a mural, which I'm bloody excited about. I think I'm going to sell it as an NFT because the job actually didn't end up going through, but it took me 30 hours to complete. So it just goes to show. But that artwork itself was a lot of masking. So that's why it took so long, is I had a lot of masking to do. And obviously that just takes forever. I did rush a lot of it. And it was also entirely like, it was combining multiple images that shouldn't really be combined. So it was a lot of just troubleshooting and whatnot. I wish I could show you, but I'm on live and I don't want to show something and then after the fact, obviously get told that I'm not allowed to show it and get in trouble, because that would be bad. I'm really enjoying this, by the way. This is like see, Chris, I can understand why you enjoy live streaming now, because it's such a, like, I feel like I'm actually communicating with you guys. I also got an invite on Foundation and I'm really excited to mint my first NFT. That's exciting, man. I'm stoked for you. I'm really, really stoked for you. Yeah, Foundation's cool. Foundation's very cool. Let's go here and I'm gonna try puppet warp this a little bit to make it look like he's floating a bit more. Puppet warp. Yeah, let's add. I just want his knee here. Oh no, that's not what I want. Let's just make sure he's got like a little bit of a structure. Yeah, I'm just gonna make him look like his knees, like, I guess. Just so it looks like he's like, you know, one of his legs behind, and then let's drag this leg down. I hope that doesn't... Oh my god! Oh no! Oh no! I think that's because of the layer mask. Yeah, it's because... we broke his leg! Oh no! Alright, how I'm going to fix this is I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to convert this to a smart object again. So to keep the layer mask. And what this will do is that'll put the layer mask within its own smart object again, like I explained before. And then we'll be able to puppet warp without the layer mask. So I'm going to go back and do this again. Also, we're getting up in the 2-hour mark, and I don't know how much longer my camera is going to last. Because I've only got the 2 batteries. I've got the R5 with the dual battery grip, but I've only got 2 batteries. So as soon as that dies, we out of here, baby. I'll keep live streaming after it dies, but it'll be audio only, and I might need to yeah, dip. Yeah, so I'm just trying to make his knee look like it's bent a little bit more. Just like he's kind of like, just to make him look like he's floating a bit more. Let's bring this arm out a bit as well. Alright, let's see how that looks. Oh, that looks so much better, doesn't it? Yeah, that actually looks like he's floating now. Alright, I've got some questions. Let's answer some questions. I agree with Chris. I already take... I'm 17 and my parents don't want me to have Instagram, so I found you on YouTube and started listening to your podcast. That's awesome, man. But annoying that your parents don't want you to have Instagram. Is it related to like... Well, I guess you're about to turn 18 and you can do whatever you want after that. Do you think it's better to edit photos in Lightroom or Photoshop? It depends what you're doing. Like if you're just editing photos, then obviously Lightroom's pretty good. Because it's, you know, it's for editing still photographs, but I don't edit, like what I'm doing right now is not possible in Lightroom. So it's kind of like, you know, we're comparing apples to tomatoes. Also, do you like the R5? Because I just heard stuff about it overheating. I mean, it's got overheating issues, but I don't think it's overheating right now. And we've been going for what? An hour and 35 minutes? But I'm obviously not recording right now. I'm using OBS and a cam link. Put a signature in your photos. It's not a bad idea. I've been thinking about it a lot lately. Because my photos keep getting posted on Facebook, man. Facebook is just so trash. It's just pure garbage, Facebook. And no one credits anyone for anything. Like there's just no credit being given to artists. And it really frustrates me. Yeah, it's annoying. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I want to make this guy match. So what we're going to do is we're going to name this one subject original. And we're going to name this one subject main. We're going to make sure that one's off. Let's delete that black and white layer. We're going to go over here. We're going to come into the brightness. And we're going to bring this guy down a bit. Because obviously he needs to be quite dark if he's in front of the planet out in space. But then we're going to add highlights on him again. Now, cheating, obviously, what I did is, and you can actually see it. Sorry. I got the wheel of death. Cheating, but you can see that I've actually added a blue light on the left of him. You can see it in his visor. And then I added a normal light on the right and then an above light as if just the ambient lighting of space. So I've almost mimicked the lighting that he would have in Blender before I got into here because I wanted to create that sort of look and feel. I'm going to increase the contrast actually a little bit. And then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to add levels. So normally, like with a subject, you're not going to get that lucky, like taking subjects from, say, like Envato Elements, for example. But here, I am that lucky, so we can count on that. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to add my first highlight. So I'm going to change this one to colorize. Bring this to... Oh, the computer's really struggling. Let's go to 195, up to 90, and up to 55. Let's make sure that's clipped to our subject. Oh boy, she's struggling. Does it bother you people steal your photos? It does, man. It's just not like I think I have a different opinion to like, a lot of people get really angry. Like, a lot of people like really lose sleep over it. And in that sense, I don't. Like, at the end of the day, I should, like, there's part of me that's like, I'm just glad that people feel like they need to steal them at all. Like, it could be the other way, where no one's even interested in looking at my photos, full stop. My artworks, full stop. So there's that part of me that's like, okay, in a way, this is like a good thing that I'm experiencing that recognition for my artwork. But at the same time, it's like, there's been a few times where I've been featured by like big pages. And those moments could have been really big for my career. Like, I got featured by Michael Jackson's daughter on her personal Instagram. She posted me on her personal Instagram, and she didn't tag me. Like it's like that, moments like that can be like game changing for a creative's career, especially a big celebrity like that. Obviously, she's not like, I would consider her definitely a D-list celebrity, but like, and I'm probably just saying that because I'm salty about her not posting my photo, but you know what I mean? It's like, I like something like a moment like that can be quite big for an artist. And I think when people feel like it doesn't matter, it's like, well, no, because like, that's what we're working for. Like, we're working to the point where our art is able to gain recognition. And if people are sharing our artworks and not sharing us, then obviously that just ruins the whole situation. Sorry, I gotta ring at my doorbell and I don't know if my roommate's going to get it. And also, I'm just adding the highlight to my little spaceman over here. He's looking quite good, isn't he? He's looking snazzy. I quite like this model. It's pretty cool, isn't it? But yeah, that's my feeling on when people steal my artwork. We have a listener of the podcast over here, Ethan, because he's asking about books. And obviously, a listener to the podcast is going to care about books. I've been reading, highly recommend this one for any of you artists out there. I just finished reading The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. It's been given a bad rap because of the name, obviously, The 4-Hour Workweek, but this is life-changing. Life-changing. Highly recommend this. I'm about to start the Make Time. I got recommended this one by a friend of mine. It's a really beautiful book. Like, it's a really nice, like, very illustrative book. Like, it's really nice. So I've started that. And then I'm also reading... I've just started reading... what was it? Give me one sec. I just finished reading as well Jordan Peterson's new book, Beyond Order, and I'm about to start this one, The Psychology of Love by Sigmund Freud. Obviously, I'm going into this with an open mind. I'm a curious person. Like I know obviously Sigmund Freud's work hasn't been received super well in the last few years. I think that he's built up a bit of a reputation from people that probably haven't even read his stuff. But I'm a curious person and I'm open-minded and I kind of want to experience it for myself. So I picked this up and I'm going to give it a read because why not? Because, you know, if it teaches me anything, then that's beneficial for me. So that's what I've been reading. Jess Roberts asks, who are your professional inspirations? I'm really inspired by people outside of my niche. I think I'm super inspired by Ali Abdaal. Ali Abdaal's a medical, or he's a doctor, and now a productivity YouTuber, and he's just like very, very good at what he does. I'm really inspired by Jai Long. Jai Long's another Melbourne creative. I had him on my podcast actually. And what I'm inspired by him is just his attention to detail and his love for what he does. I think there's something to be said about people that just really, really, really love what they do and put love into their stuff. Like when someone takes the time to really put the effort behind something. And that's like kind of why I like, you know, this is my first live stream, but I've really put effort into making this live stream look good. And I think that's inspired a lot by Jai. And then like people, like the obvious ones like Short Stash, like Peter McKinnon, Matt Diavella, like these guys are. I'm not super inspired by like mainstream. I guess those people are mainstream, but I'm not super inspired by mainstream people. Would you ever consider making an editing PC? Looks like your Mac is really struggling. Yes, I'm about to buy a PC. Visuals of Julius or Julius. Julius is single-handedly responsible for me live streaming right now because he's sort of whipped me into gear to get this done, but then also he's the person who pushed me over the edge with a PC. We're on a live or on a phone call one time and he just heard my Mac in the background. He's like, dude, what are you doing? When do you find time to read? I read first thing in the morning. I know, man. I right now I have to be honest with you, my time, I don't have a lot of time between my Ironman training and then work and whatnot. I'm not freelancing anymore, so really I'm only focusing on like my work, my courses, my products, my Ironman training, posting content, and then but I read first thing in the morning, and I try to read before bed as much as I can. I've found reading before bed just so beneficial, but generally I found reading first thing in the morning. I get up super early. I'm from Monday to Friday. I get up between 4 and 6 a.m. and then on weekends I try to get up early as well. But I read for about half an hour in the morning first thing. I found that's really good. How do you get ideas for artworks? Because I find it so hard to come with ideas because I just like photo without a story, and I feel like a photo is bland without a story. Oh no, not Freud. I knew that was going to get a bad rap. I love the pirate life. Yes, Peter's brand is so good. And that's another example. It's like Peter's, like you can tell with the pirate life that he loves what he's doing. And there's so much to be said about that. If I can give you any advice, it's like, just like, please just put some love into what you're doing. People will notice. People will notice. Are you still meditating on top of reading? I'm pretty bad with meditating, to be honest with you. I've tried so many times to make that a habit. I just can't. Reading is a habit I'm really proud of. I do that a lot. I go through between 1 to 3 books a month. But meditating is one I just can't make stick. How do you get ideas? I want to come back to this question because I think this is valuable. Let me come back to this screen real quick. One of the things that I do is I steal. Like, I think a book that I highly recommend if we're coming back to books is Steal Like an Artist. Steal Like an Artist is a great, sort of teaches you how to do what I'm essentially about to say. But I have on my Instagram, so if I go to my Instagram page, I have like folders dedicated in my saves. So when I save things, so I've got folders dedicated to a bunch of different things. On my Instagram, if that wants to focus. I don't think that's going to focus. Is it? Kind of. This is an old lens. It really struggles. It's chugging. Come on, bruh. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, I've got a folder for like ideas for Photoshop edits, ideas for photos, ideas for Australian photos, ideas for 3D art. And essentially what I'll do is I'll just go in here and save everything that I see that inspires me for Photoshop or inspires me for art or whatever. And then occasionally I'll just go in here and I'll like take a bunch of them and I'll put them into a collage, and I'll just pick like certain things from each. So like, for example, one I'm looking at right now, this is one by SB.editing. SB.editing, fantastic creator, really, really talented dude. He's like, it's a tree in a desert with stars and a planet above. Really, really simple idea, but I probably wouldn't have thought about it if I didn't see that. And it's like, that's something that I can now go and be like, okay, how can I incorporate that into one of my artworks? This one by Anna McNaughty, also an amazing creator, Anna McNaughty on Instagram. McNaught, spelt like McNaught, but she has a Y at the end of her name. Planet inside a jellyfish. I wish I could be showing you this. Let me actually pull this up on my computer. I want to show you guys this, because I feel like this is valuable. Still, like, the idea of stealing like an artist is not an original idea, but it's not one that I feel like people actually pay that much attention to. I teach psychology and would rather recommend Jung over him. And if psychology interests you, there is a cool book called The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat. Yes, so I have my neighbor, and one of my good friends is also a psychologist, or she's in her final year. She's about to start her PhD. But yeah, she also like really got annoyed at me when I bought that book. I'm curious. Like, I'm a curious person. It's like, I think I would be the kind of person that would read a lot of these books that are like, I remember I was in a bookstore recently and I saw like the Communist Manifesto or something, and I was like, I kind of want to buy that. Not that I at all believe in that ideology, but I'm curious. So I think I read more out of curiosity. I would like to read Jung though. Jung does interest me. So if I go over here to my saves, so here, so I've got inspo for 3D art, I've got office design, but it's only got one post. I've got inspo for photos, inspo for Photoshop edits, so Australian inspo, so this is like locations in Australia. Good post, so this is where I save like my stuff for like, you know, inspirational stuff. So there's Jai, and then there's like a personal branding thing and blah, blah, blah. And then I think like rebrand for podcast. I think I've just got a bunch of like ads for FlowKit, which is my company that I'm starting with a friend of mine. But inspo for Photoshop edits. If I go in here, and I've saved, I don't know how many posts, saved a lot in here. And not all of these are Photoshop art. Like this one is a real photograph, 3D art. I'm pretty sure I think that's 3D. I don't know if that's not 3D or not. That's 3D. Like, all of these are just things that I've seen and gone, that catches my eye. I'm going to save that and I want to use that. So if I now need to edit something, I'll come into this folder and go, okay, what do I feel like making today? And even like this, even the artwork that I'm making today. So the reason why I got the idea for it is it's not my own idea. It's like, I think people have this idea that I'm also on Displate now, by the way. I haven't uploaded anything yet. But yeah, so this is where I got the idea for the artwork. I think people, and this is something I'm going to be teaching in my course, but this is where I got the idea for this artwork that I'm making. It's one of Benny Productions' Displate artworks. And I think that people have this idea that everything that they make needs to be original, and it's just not true at all. It's like, steal like an artist. Don't steal someone's art outright, but some of the artworks that I've made, or some of the ways that I've learnt in the past. One thing that I started doing a while ago is I would reverse engineer other people's Photoshop art. So I would go and take their artwork and save it somewhere, and then what I would do is I would go into Photoshop and try to download similar assets or the same assets and try to reverse engineer how they did that. And that single-handedly taught me so much, because I was essentially able to learn exactly how they made something that I really admired. And I think people are so averse to sort of copying, if you will. Like, if you look at that artwork that I just showed of Benny Productions, and then you go back to the artwork that we were making before, it's like there's similar subject matter. Obviously, we're nowhere near finished, but you know, there's similar subject matter, but I've made it in my own style. And I think that you're inherently going to have your own voice. So two things that I would recommend doing is like, go and find the artwork that you really like and then save it Like, save the things that you like about it. So what's the composition? What's the color? What's the tone? What's the overall story that's been told? Save those elements in your style folder, and then save your photos that you admire into like inspiration folder. And the style folder builds the backbone of your style. Like, always refer to that when you're creating the style of your images, and then steal the compositions or the styles or the color that they've used or whatever from these images and combine those two. Because I think one of the things that people don't realize is that, like, nothing's really original. It's just unrecognizable because it's got so many inspiration sources that have merged into one. It's like, if you look at any of my artworks, it's a combination of like, surrealist painters, there's so many inspirations that have come in from years of learning art that it's unrecognizable where those sources have come from. So people see it as my style, when in reality it's just a dozen or 24 different artists that I'm inspired by, all merging into one that I now go and be like, okay, that's now my style. People, like, style is such a thing that people get so worked up about, but in reality it's just like, you've got to just figure out what you enjoy. Well, got to go. Super duper great idea, this stream. You guys have a great day. Thanks, man. Enjoy your night, man. I had no idea you were from France, Ethan. That's fair enough to be curious, and you cannot dislike someone before you try it. Exactly. I think that's all I do. I'm just curious. I think we might cap this at 2 hours. How does 2 hours sound? Let me check what my camera's at. Man, we can keep going. My camera's got heaps left. If you wake up at 4 to 6 every morning, what time do you sleep? I normally go to bed at 9:30. So we're getting we're getting pretty close to my bedtime. I'm usually in bed now. So I try to wind. That's probably the one thing I am good at, as far as like being someone who does social media for a living. We tend to not have very good work-life balance, but that's one thing I am very, very good at. Is I am very strict, with the exception of tonight. I would consider this a free time activity, but I'm quite good at not working any later than like 7 p.m. And I usually start winding down with a book or a cup of tea or just YouTube or Netflix or whatever from like 7:30 to like 8:30, and then from 8:30 to 9:30 it's just prioritizing getting ready to go to bed. And honestly, when you get up that early, 9:30, I know for some people they're like, 9:30, how can you go to sleep at 9:30? When you get up at 4 o'clock, by the time you get to 9:30, you're dying to go to sleep. That's so true, Tom, and I have a friend who also told me the same thing, that great artists copy, and he also read the book you told about, so I might read it soon. But thank you so much, bro. Really appreciate you, homie. Appreciate you too, man. I appreciate you too. Thanks for hanging around. Let's get back to this artwork, because that's what we came here to do, isn't it? Although I'm enjoying this chat. Like, look, I have to be honest with you, like podcasting and like this sort of stuff, like personal development stuff, and I guess like this is what I would label as creative personal development. It's what I'm passionate about. Like, I love art. I do love art. My second love is personal development and psychology and helping people with that side of things, because I think that I think when you start to incorporate that into your life more, there's so much to be gained from just understanding why you do certain things, or how certain things work, or how the way certain, how your behaviors are going to affect you. And I think there's so much to be gained from that. I'm just going to take my time for a sec here. Continue to ask questions. I'll go and read them in a sec. But I'm just going to quickly just add my highlights onto this guy. But I'm really enjoying this, guys. I'm so glad I enjoyed this, because I was a bit unsure going into tonight. I knew it was going to be something that was going to take some getting used to, but honestly, it feels kind of like podcasting with less pressure. Hey Jaden, how you doing? I'm good. I'm fantastic. Yes, artwork. More content is very good. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Also, who's watched my latest YouTube video? Pressure's on, guys. You can't be sitting in the live stream and not have watched the latest YouTube video. That wouldn't be very good, would it? How did you get into Photoshop? I actually haven't answered that yet. I got into Photoshop like 4 years ago now. I got into it because I grew up painting and I started photography, and I think that I love photography. I do love, like, no, look, COVID kind of made me feel like I didn't love photography because I just never got to do it. But then I went to Byron with my girlfriend recently, and God, it was so nice just to photograph and to flex that creative muscle. Like, it was just so much fun. And I think I forgot that I enjoyed that so much. I really did forget that was something I really did enjoy. So, like, I enjoy it, but I just didn't get enough out of. I think I wanted a little bit more out of it, and I wasn't getting that from just photography and just editing photos. I really wanted to get a little bit more out of it. I have no idea where this edit's going, to be honest with you, but I'm enjoying it. Mind me just lurking without having watched the latest video. Oh, dude, come on, man. Come on, man. You can't be doing that to me. Lurking in my live stream without even watching my latest video. Dennis, I'm mad at you, man. I'm actually pissed. Some genuine Australian anger going on right now. I'm fucking fuming, dude. I'm actually mad at you. You really disappointed me. How could you let me down like that, dude? How could you let me down? We could keep going with the bit, but I'm not going to. No, seriously. In all seriousness, if you can, open up my latest video in a tab next to you, because we've got 20 of you in here right now. Open up my latest video in a tab, and I want you to go and like it and or comment. Like and or comment would be great. That would really help me out. That would actually genuinely help me out if all of you right now could go and do that. If all of you could leave a comment on my latest video, that would actually genuinely help me out a lot. Have you been watching the Olympics, or are you not really a sports guy? Look, I'm not really a sports guy, to be honest with you. Like, I loved playing sports. I played a lot of sports when I was younger. I really enjoy playing sports. Like, I'm training for an Ironman right now. I'm racing December 5th. So pretty soon. Like, I really enjoy being involved in sports personally, but I don't know, there's something about watching sports that's just never hooked me as much as I enjoy actually just doing the sport. And I think that that's not all that uncommon. I think lots of people are like that. But I actually do enjoy the Olympics a lot. I enjoy I've been watching the swimming a little bit here and there, and I've been watching the water polo. That's been fun. I think the final's on tonight, actually. I think the Aussies are playing. No, maybe they're not. Can someone let me know if the Australians are in the water polo tonight? Because if that's the case, we might need to end this live stream early. Sorry. No, but seriously. Call to action time. Guys, if every single one of you, we've got 20 of you in here right now. If every single one of you could like this live stream right now, I want you to like the live stream. And then I want you to open my latest video in a new tab, and I want you to like and comment on that. And also, if you're not subscribed, first of all, what are you doing here and not being subscribed? Go and subscribe, please. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah. That would be fantastic if you could do that. But let's get back to the edit. Oh, that's sick. I'm wanting to do a marathon as soon as I'm 18. Oh, man, I would highly recommend it. Running has seriously changed my life. I ran my first sub. This is turning into running chat right now. I ran my first sub 19-minute 5K today, like a few hours ago actually, and that was just like such a awesome moment, because I remember like 2 years ago when I first started getting into running, like I could barely run a 5K without stopping, and then today I ran one, you know, in under 19 minutes, which is, you know, not amazing, like it's not like world class, but I was pretty chuffed. So, you know, it's changed my life, honestly. It's in 16 minutes. Bruh, hold on, let me text my where's Tom? We watching the final for water polo. Yeah. How's this looking? It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Oh, sorry, you guys just witnessed my OCD kick in for a second there. Look, I'm not too mad about it, like considering the frame rate's dropping and I can't be as strict. Yeah, but it's not for another week. Wait, so apparently... Are you sure, dude? Pressure is on now. Nah, I'm not going to go. I'm enjoying this. I'm actually really enjoying this. I'm not going to go longer than 9 p.m. though. Sorry, guys. That's my bedtime. And I've got a long ride I've got to do in the morning. Yeah, I've got a long ride. That's actually so encouraging. Sorry, guys, for the running topic. I've had a lot of discouragement towards it, saying I'm too young for that sort of stuff. Dude, no way. Too young? I don't know who's telling you that. Whoever's saying that's wrong. Running's probably the one sport that you can't really be too young for, because, you know, it's like, yeah, you definitely can't be too young for running. I'm not enjoying the blues as much on this guy. I need, like, look, normally I would really be strict with how I'm painting my highlights on, but I'm being a little bit rushed here, because let's add a highlight behind his leg here. I think I need more of a fringe blue highlight, so let's go another one. Let's make this one all the way at 100. Oh, we're losing it. We're losing it. Women's water polo tonight, men's tomorrow. Oh, that's great. Okay. Women's tonight. I'll watch the women's water polo tonight. I won't watch the whole thing. I'll miss the start probably. Or I could pull it up on another screen. CK asks, do you pick your stock images based on their resolution, or do you change the artwork size based on your imagery? So I get all of my stock images from Envato, and Envato, obviously, they don't, like, I'm not going to free stock sites, so the resolution's always really high. I just recommend that. There's a link to sign up to Envato Elements in the description. I'm not sponsored, but I believe in their product because it's a really, really good product, if I can be honest with you. But yeah, the resolution of their stock is always really high, so I never really have to worry about that sort of thing. But if that were an issue, I would always opt for higher resolution stock than reducing the image size, because obviously a smaller image size is going to result in less quality, and obviously I want to print my work in the future at some point, if I can. So if I stick to a smaller stock size, then I'm not going to be able to print my work. Now, I have seen some, I've seen some people create some incredible artwork with really small stock, and all glory to them. Like, if you want to do that, so be it. But I would prefer to just have high quality stock images. All right, let's see how that looks. Does that look a little bit better? Look, it's not great, but we're working with it. Hey, still going? Yeah, bro. We're still here. 2 hours strong. This is a banger right now. Getting some Fable 3 vibes going on. I don't mind that. Look, I don't hate it. I don't love it either, but I don't mind it. I'm so picky, man. I'm probably what I'm gonna do. I see, subscription websites like, great. What other platforms are you subscribed to? What other platforms for, like, stock? I had Adobe stock for a while, but it's so expensive, man. It's like $30 a month for like 10 images, whereas most of Envato is like unlimited. Jaden Moore, going back to earlier, what do you love most about waking up so early? It's just that, like, I enjoy the quiet. I know that that's like everyone says it. It's like the rest of the world's asleep, and it's like, it's so true. It's so true. Like, it's like there's just nothing else going on, and I think that's such a freeing experience. I think there's something nice about getting to like midday and being done with your work day if you want it to be. I don't know. I've always been an early riser. Like, I remember when I was a little kid, I would get up early before school and play Xbox because that was the only time I was able to play. So like, it's just probably honestly been the way I've been my entire life. It's just like, I really enjoy. I'm really annoyed about these highlights. God, my OCD's kicking off hard. Sorry, guys. I've just been, if I can be honest, like, I've just been like that my entire life. So there's a part of it that's like that, but also just like, I think it's just such a, and then, man, like between 4 o'clock in the morning and like 9 a.m., those hours are so productive. And I totally get it. My girlfriend is someone that's the opposite. She's someone that like 11 p.m. till 4 in the morning is like her most productive time. So I get it when people aren't like that. Like, there's plenty of people who like Chris is one of those people. I know for a fact Chris does most of his creative work between the early hours of the morning. So I think that there's definitely something to be said about picking what works for you. Is there a big difference in quality of images, for example, something like Unsplash, or comparison to a paid service like Adobe Stock? So the main things that I find with Unsplash and then like a paid service is the quality of the images, the specificity. So you're going to be able to find exactly what you want. And then also, so the specificity and quality are the big things. There's great quality. Unsplash is incredible, but it's just not as good quality. Did you find it hard to start waking up early and go to bed early while all your mates are probably out and doing fun things? yes and no. It's like you've got to prioritize what's important to you. Like obviously there's times where that would be the case, but if I can be honest with you, I don't enjoy. It's probably a bad thing. It's probably a little bit of the workaholic in me, but I don't necessarily enjoy some of that stuff. Like there's a lot of times where I would do that and I end up just feeling guilty, or like I feel stressed that a lot of times I just end up feeling stressed, and it's like I would rather just not do that. So yes and no. Obviously there's sometimes, like, I can't promise that that's all the time, because it's not, and anyone who says that to you is lying. Like, there are definitely days where I don't get up that early, so don't try and feel like this is every day, but like a lot of the times it is. Let's turn this to screen. I want some atmosphere between him, our character, and the planet, because there's obviously, well, there's not any atmosphere, it's space, but I want there to be a little bit of something going on between him and Earth below him. So what we're going to do is we're going to go like this to like maybe like 20. We're going to make this layer really big, so like up to like that, and we're just going to photo bash it in behind him. So we're going to go black, and we're just going to paint a little bit in behind him, like so, just like that, just a little bit, just so it's a little bit of atmosphere, just so he gets a little bit more isolated. We don't want too much. Is this going to stay up on my channel? Yeah, fair enough. Cheers, bro. Did you find it hard? Yeah, I go hard at night. Mornings, I cannot wake up. I would like to try it one year. Just go hard with self-discipline. But yeah, I don't know. I like sleeping. No, like I said, I've always been like this. So it's worth remembering that I find it really difficult to stay up late. I find my brain just goes off to another world. So like, it's worth remembering that you need to work with what works best for you. And if what works best for you is getting your work done at night, then that's okay. Live streaming. Sorry, boys. Yeah, you need to work with what's best for you. Is this going to stay up on your channel? I don't know. Should I leave it up? I was actually curious about that, because I wasn't like... Yeah, I don't know if that's something I should do. I also don't know how it'll like do with my... Like, is it gonna make... Is it gonna... Yeah, I don't know. Should I? I feel like I should. Why not? Right? Like, why... I don't know. You guys let me know. Little poll. Should I leave this up on my channel, or should I take it down? Okay. Like that. Just trying to make him match a little bit better. I think we need to work on the overall tone. I quite like this, to be honest with you. How do you guys feel about it? Do you guys like this artwork? Is this something I should work on when I'm not on a live stream? I think I will. I think I might work on this when I'm not on live to make it look more realistic. What's the most valuable habit you have made? Guys, this is a Photoshop live stream. This is becoming a personal development live stream. What is the most valuable habit you have made excluding your sleep schedule? Exercising. I don't include it often in my podcast because it's something I've done my entire life. It's something I've done literally my entire life. Like, I think I've just always been obsessed with exercising, and I think it's I think it's so important for everything, man. It's so important. So exercise is by far the best habit. Where's that question? What's the most valuable? Yeah, so exercising, I would say. Reading's a great one. Reading has single-handedly changed my life. I think reading personal development and like self-help, it's such a weird one because I find that the people that need self-help aren't going to read self-help, and the people who don't need it read it. But it's literally a cheat code for life. Like it's a cheat sheet for life. So at the very least, give it a go, I guess. You think you're selling this as an NFT afterwards? Honestly, I'm gonna redo this afterwards. Not after this stream immediately, but I've been wanting to make this artwork for about a week now. I've had this idea in my head, and I like it. I don't like the execution so far. I've got like a much bigger idea. Just like my computer's absolutely chugging right now, and it's not super enjoyable to edit. Leave it, man. I think I'll leave it. What else are you thinking of adding to it? I'm gonna add a whole bunch of other planets, like smaller ones, and like moons, and then asteroids, and I'm essentially just gonna fill the thing. I want to make. I've got some more ideas for this. I want to just fill the frame. It's mad keen to see the finished product, even though it pretty much looks finished. No way, dude. It's far from finished. Hey, Tom, what spec Mac you running? Looking at buying a new 16-inch MacBook Pro soon, but unsure of what specs to focus on maxing. So I've got a fully maxed out 20. So let's go to here. So I've got a fully maxed out 2019. So this is what I've got. I've got like the 2.4 gigahertz, 8 core Intel i9, 32 gigabytes of RAM, the Radeon Pro Vega, and then 2.4 gigahertz. So it's pretty powerful for a MacBook Pro. But yeah, I bought it in 2019, so it's a little bit old. I would hold off on getting the 16-inch. I would wait for the new M1. So there's rumors that before the end of the year, they're going to announce a new MacBook Pro. If you want to get, I guess, like if you want to get a MacBook Pro, like I'm going to get a PC, but my PC is just going to be, because I can justify it now, because don't copy my purchasing decisions, because my purchasing decisions are related to my business. But the reason why I'm still going to have a MacBook Pro, I'm probably still going to buy the new 16-inch MacBook Pro when it comes out, and that's going to be my work computer, and then I'm going to edit and do everything on my PC. I'll stop with all the questions, the personal development questions. I'll check out the podcast instead. But what have been your favorite episodes to record? Dude, I'm more than happy to talk about it. I'm only joking about like too many personal development questions. But yeah, I think my favorite episode, what was it? Let me chuck it in the chat. One of my recent episodes, actually, really applicable to what we've spoken about in this podcast, actually. I'm going to link it in the chat. How do I get to my episodes? Search your library. Oh my God, podcasts. Where's my podcast, bro? There it is. So this episode, link copied to clipboard. So we're going in the chat right now. So that episode, I talk all about like being authentic online and sharing your authentic voice, and I really think it's a great episode. I'm pretty sure they're calling it the MX1. Yes, so the M1X, they're calling it the MacBook Pro 1X. 100% agree. Hold out for the M1. Yes, 100%. Oath, I'll probably wait for the M1 in the 16-inch. Cheers, legend. Can I come on the podcast? 100%, man. You can come on the podcast anytime. Of course you can. Yeah, I think my that was a great episode. Yeah, I really enjoyed making it, and then my partner listens to the podcast, and she told me that she enjoyed it as well. So I was a bit like, okay, it must be a good episode. But yeah, I enjoyed making it as well. So So yeah, I'm almost enjoying just chatting to you guys. I'm gonna get back to editing though, because we need to edit this image. It's the most important thing. What do I want to do? What do I want to do to this thing? I think I need to work on the overall tone of the entire image. So to answer Corey, your question, I'm not going to sell this. I'm not making this. My thought for this is I want to start making a displate series that's more like crazy for my displate. So as my prints. So I'm going to start doing that at some point. So no, this won't be an NFT. But I need to get better with my NFT stuff, because I really enjoy that stuff. I've just been sort of tunnel vision, trying to actually focus on what I'm doing with that, and what I'm doing with the podcast, and what I'm doing with YouTube, and what I'm doing with Instagram. Yeah. So yeah, my vision for this, I think the planet is I think that's kind of ruining it a bit. I think I need to do something to make him stand out, because right now he just doesn't stand out from behind. I think to do that, I need to make it like, yeah. How often do you stream? This is the first time I've been streaming, man. This is the very first time, and I'm loving it. You need to say, to see the final image, make sure you tune in for the next live stream. And then you can go, that's a good idea. Jess, are you trying to make me finish? Are you trying to make me finish this live stream? Are you telling me it's boring? Jess, you've been here from the start as well. I really appreciate that. All right, guys. I think on that note, bro, you got to do it again. I'm going to try and do it every Friday. I really did enjoy this, to be honest with you. It's 9 p.m. or 8:57. It's almost my bedtime, and we've been going for 2 hours, 25 minutes and 44 seconds. I really did think that this was going to be... I didn't expect this to go for this long, and I didn't expect to enjoy this as much. So I'm so glad that you guys have enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun. If you guys, like Jess said, if you guys want to see bring on 4:30 a.m. See you in the morning. No, I'm thoroughly enjoying this, but understand those early risers bring on 4:30 a.m. Yeah. So if you guys enjoyed this, let me know if you guys want to see this. If you guys want to see it on the channel, if you guys want to see me do these more often, let me know, because I genuinely actually did really enjoy this, and I think it's something that I could make a regular thing. Also, do you want me to do this on Twitch, or do you want me to do this on YouTube? I'm really unsure. Live streaming is something I want to do more of, but whether I want to do it here on YouTube, or whether I want to keep this YouTube channel just to short form content and then have something like a Twitch stream or whatever, but let me know. But Jesus loves you. Your artwork is sick, and you are an all-round legend. Thanks you very much, mate. How do you have time for your partner on top of everything? We are long distance. We're in a long distance relationship. So when we're not together, I have time to do whatever I want. But yeah, we're in a long distance relationship, which obviously has its moments, but then sometimes it's good. In this case, we're both very type A people as well. So she's a doctor, and I'm a artist, and doing this full time. So we're both very type A and very goal orientated and driven. So it's kind of almost good that we have these focuses. So anyway, I'm going to call it a night, because I've enjoyed this a lot, and I want to call it here, because if I keep going, I'm just going to keep going forever. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have. If you do or are interested in supporting this stream or supporting my artwork, I'll say it again. There's a link in the top line of the description for a bunch of the things that I use to make my videos. There's a link for Envato Elements. There's a link for where I find my stock video. There's a link for everything that I use, Skillshare, everything. And all of those links, if you sign up, provide me with a little bit of a kickback. So if you're at all interested in signing up for Envato Elements to get any of the elements that I use in the edits today, or if you're interested in doing whatever, all of those links will not only help you because you'll be able to get the results from those programs, but they'll give me a little bit of a commission from your sale. So if you're interested in doing that at all, that's the way to support me at the moment. But until next time, I'll see you guys later.